Hello, hello, hello. It's Stephanie here, and welcome to this episode of the Rent Success podcast. I am so excited to have with me today a dear friend of mine, Paula Burns. She's a business confidence coach for women. So, a slightly different episode today. And often we talk about the logistics of how to do rent to rent, but we all know that one of the biggest barriers to actually starting any business or investment is the lack of confidence. And it's something that especially women can struggle with. But I know you'll get something from today's episode, man or woman. And what Paula does is helps people unlock their creativity and stand out in business. But fundamentally, it's about creating that rock solid confidence where you're able to implement the actions you want. And Paula helps you find the spark without the struggle. And in actual fact, I've been to Paula's business retreats and they're absolutely phenomenal. You come away so inspired and able to implement. Since we got back from the latest retreat, Paula, we were just saying was a couple of weeks ago, I've set up a joint webinar, our first partnership webinar. It's got 600 people registered. And that was off the back of our latest business retreat with you. So welcome to the show, Paula Burns.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be here with you.
That's great, Paula. You're a little bit faint. So
Oh,
you might have to just talk up a little bit.
oh, okay. Is that a bit better?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, right.
Okay, Paula, well, I love to start off with tell us a little bit about you. You're a business confidence coach today. I know that you do many other things as well, but how did you get to where you are now?
Right. Well, okay. Well, like so many business women, we have so many hats. We wear so many hats. But for me, it's about really structuring my time and what I'm about now. And so a little bit of my journey and my story is I started my business 18 years ago and I started in the events industry. So I'm a special events and wedding planner. And I'm also like a creative business mentor and coaching and confidence coaching as well. So the event was the first part of what I started with. Got into the weddings, which I absolutely love. And I still do that as well. But then I also have this side of my business, which has been growing very quickly over the past sort of, I would say, 3-4 years, where I help business women just stand out from the crowd.
Yeah. And I know, Paula, that it's women who've got their own businesses already and women who want to start in business, but
Yeah.
just feel that confidence is lacking. So if you're listening and maybe you've actually wanted to get started in rent to rent, maybe it's another kind of business, but you just haven't been able to take the next action and you think that your confidence needs a boost, Paula is the person for you. So talking about this, Paula, what are the biggest myths, do you think, when it comes to confidence? What are the biggest mistakes or myths that people have?
I feel, and I've seen it over and over again, women and business people in general spend a lot of time looking at what everybody else is doing and feeling like they know what they're doing and they're really confident and then they look at their own lives and think, well, I'm not very interesting. I haven't got much to share, or I'm not going to be able to get up there and do that, or so the continual thing that I hear from my clients when they come to work with me is that, I'm not really interested. But then when we start talking about things and really sort of dissecting what they've done over the years, what their experience is, the whole thing, and just unraveling that, they get really excited. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I am more than this, or I'm more than just this person who sat here today. And I think that's what I get people to do, is to realize that they are more than who they are today. It's not just about the fact that you've just set up this business. It's about, what did you do before you set up your business? And who are you as an individual? What do you love? What are the things that inspire you? What are your morals and values? These are all the things that will attract people to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I say in all businesses, but especially in rent to rent, it is really a personal relationship business. When you're meeting a
Mm,
landlord and they've got a property, if they trust in you
yeah,
that you're going to look after their property and manage it well, then that's really the biggest hurdle. And confidence plays so much into that.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I so many business owners, they spend lots of money on getting the help like what you offer, which is absolutely amazing. I love what you offer, this whole package, in helping them put it all together and be able to present this business. But then it comes to the point of presenting it and getting out there, and sort of putting yourself on the spot, and that's where they fall down, because they know what they're doing, they know they can do it, but they just don't know how to get out there and be seen.
They lack that confidence, as you said, and they don't want to be seen, are hiding. I suppose that's the
Yes,
biggest
I
mistake.
know, so many people hiding.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that some of the people you've worked with, you've really helped them to go from hiding to being seen and videos online. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yes, I mean, gosh, it is that thing where I again, I hear it all the time. I don't want people to see me. I don't like my photos. I don't like my images. Oh my gosh, I'm really scared to do a video. What if, what if? And again, it's like sharing with them this thing that I remember talking to one of my clients and sort of saying to her when she said, "Oh, well, I don't like my photos." And I said, I'm sure that every single photo that you've taken, there is at least one or two photos that you like, and the way that you pose in photos. There is something that you like about some of the photos that you've had taken. And she had to agree. She was like, "Yeah, I do." But I said, then you need to be intentional about how you have your photos taken, so that you have a number of photographs that you love. Don't just go with these random things, that photos that you don't love, and then give yourself this narrative that you keep repeating to yourself about how awful I look in photos. Go for the process where you can create photos that you absolutely love and put those out there. And I just think that's so important. She was just so excited then, because she hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, because we're so attached. We've all, most of us have got that story, haven't we? How we don't look good in photos.
Yeah,
And I used to be really wedded to that one. But as you said, there's so many things you can do. And one of them is to get some professional photos taken, which is
yeah,
great when you're starting a business because it helps you to see yourself in a new light. And it also
yeah,
helps other people to see you in a new light. And goodness me, when you get professional photos, even the fussiest person's going to find some that they absolutely
exactly.
love.
Exactly. So, and from the video side of things as well, is taking those little steps, little baby steps. If you're going to do videos or you're going to do a live, don't start with trying to put something on that's 15 minutes long. Just do something that's 2 or 3 minutes, and share something that you love. Talk about something that inspires you and, makes you excited. And when you focus on what inspires you and what you're passionate about, you forget to be nervous.
Yes,
It's
totally.
as easy as that.
And speaking about short videos, Paula, you're on TikTok, aren't you? And
Oh, I am on TikTok.
I love your I love your videos on TikTok.
Oh my goodness. The thing is, I did that thing where when we all went into lockdown, TikTok became the thing, didn't it? And then my niece, who's a singer-songwriter, sort of like just blew up on TikTok, and I just asked her, "How did you do it? What's it all about? Show me a few tips." And she showed me a few things. And what I love about TikTok is that it allows me to just feed my creativity. So I tend to just use it for fun rather than just pushing it for business, because it's one of those things that I've always loved acting and performing, and it gives me that opportunity to do that. So, and it
Yeah.
makes other people smile as well. So that's why I love
It
it.
does. It does. It's so fun. But going back to the confidence idea of it. I was absolutely petrified when I started putting videos online, but that was a few years ago now. And people now think, oh, well, you're super confident, Stephanie, you're putting videos online. But as you know, Paula, it's just, you just do it and you feel terrified and you do it and then you get the experience at it and then it's less scary after a while.
Exactly. I was exactly the same. I mean, and even now, I think every time it's that feeling just before you're going to get on video, you think, oh, God, I've got to do this. And I still get it. But then, as I said, once you get into it, you forget you're on video and you just do. And it's the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even an issue now. And I know that Paula as well, if people want to get more involved with you, you've got a Facebook group.
I've got a Facebook group where I've got my tribe, my community. If you want to just connect with me, my energy, and the people within my group, I share lots of tips within that group as well, about how you can sort of stand out. And it's a Facebook group that's called Irresistible Business Impact with Paula Burns. And you can just request to join, and I ask you a few questions and I let you in.
So, as Paula said, Irresistible Business Impact with Paula Burns. Search on Facebook. Even if you search Irresistible Business Impact, you should see the one come up with Paula, and you'll be able to join her in the Facebook group there. Paula, what are the secrets to success? Because confidence is a bit of a mystery to many people. And I know that there's many people who, like I did, thought that if you're shy or you lack confidence, that's just who you are. That's just how it's going to be.
And it surprises a lot of people when I tell them just how shy I was and probably still am. I call myself an introvert extrovert because, I do like my own space. And I still get sort of anxious about certain things as well. But then at the same time, I'm a people person as well. So I am passionate about certain things and when I connect with people, that comes out. So I can put it out there. But the secret to being confident is like I mentioned before, is to tune in to what you're passionate about and what you love and who you are. I speak I go into schools and universities and I talk to young people, and one of the things that I get them to do is to own who they are. Know who you are and own it. It could be, just start by little things, just little things that you like, maybe little quirky things about you. What's unique about you? Because we're all very unique. None of us are exactly the same. So own who you are and share that with the world. And the world will love your quirkiness. Your tribe will find you. I say that all the time. Everyone's not going to like you. I'm not for everyone. And we're not all for everyone. But your tribe is going to find you. And you don't have to be perfect. That's another thing I get out there, is that people will gravitate towards you a lot more if you're just yourself and you're not like trying to get everything perfectly right, because no one is perfect. So yeah, just do it. If something doesn't go right, if it is sort of like falls apart a little bit, make a joke about it and just move on and keep going. People will love you for it.
Yeah, and people do love that human side. And we were just saying I'm coming up to 10,000 on Instagram, and I said, well, I don't know how, because you know how some people curate their Instagram and have all the pictures beautiful. Well, I just put the posts, whichever posts I happen to be putting out on that day, I just put them out, and I don't really.
Yeah, and that's what people love about you, Steph.
Well, as you said, it's each, we all got our own little ways. And so, Paula, once people actually are able to stand out and, feel confident enough to take the steps that they need to take, I know that you've got some useful downloads and at paulaburns.net and about unleashing your creativity. So tell us about what you've got there for us.
Yeah, so basically, if you just want to sort of like get a little bit of a taste of what I do and how I help, my clients. What I've got is a free download, and it's 5 simple ways to stand out in your industry. So I touch on 5 simple things that you can do that helps with confidence, but also helps with standing out as well. They're really useful. It's not a long download at all, because that's one of the things none of us has, like, hours and hours of time to sit and work through something that's that could be snappy. So what I wanted to do is to give you, the viewers, and business owners who, obviously, if you're a business owner, we're very time poor. So I wanted to give you some easy things that you could be thinking about now for your business, and how you can change a few simple things that you can get noticed. I mean, for instance, even in my group as well, in my Facebook group, I share some of these things. And one of the things we've been talking about today is I get people to sort of think about what is one word that describes what they offer. So either one word that describes what they offer, that's one question that I tend to ask a lot, and one word that describes you as an individual, that's another question that I ask. But the reason I ask that question is because people are quick to answer that. They go, yes, well, what I offer is this, can be described as this. And then I ask them, do you use that a lot in your promotion? When you're showing up and promoting to people, do you use that word? And you would be surprised the amount of people say, not as often as I should. And so simple things like that, in terms of you're trying to promote something and how amazing something is, and you know what that keyword is, but you don't use it at all when you're promoting. So yeah. I think people get caught up in the whole like hype of, oh, I must promote like this or I must promote like that, rather than thinking, these are the natural things that you need to be thinking about.
Yeah, very interesting. And a lot of the ideas that I've got from your group, Paula, I've used to, grow our own visibility online and connect more with our audience. And I get a lot of compliments saying, or I don't know if they're compliments or not, saying, oh, I see you everywhere, Steph. So yes. I really encourage you, if you're listening now and you want to stand out in your industry in that way, to get Paula's download. It really is phenomenal. And these 5 things will be game changers for you. So you can go to paulaburns.net and it's on the business mentoring page, but we've also got the link in the show notes, or it'll be under this video if you're listening or watching on the website. Okay, Paula, as we draw to the end, I want to ask you, because I think people who are shy really, or not confident rather, really struggle to believe that they can be a different way. And so you were painfully shy when you were younger. So I would love to know from you, what is it that you think that changed for you to allow you to be so confident and outgoing that we see today? We would never even believe that you were shy.
I know. Oh my gosh. One thing I will say, it doesn't happen overnight. So don't think you're going to flick a switch and all of a sudden you're going to be confident, because it doesn't happen like that. I think the changing points for me were when I was still working in corporate before I set my business up. And I would notice people who were getting on really quickly, getting promotion, being noticed, being pushed further. And they weren't necessarily people who could do the job any better than me. In fact, I felt like I could do it a lot better and I had more skills than them. But they were still being, propelled forwards in a phenomenal way, and in really sort of, impressive jobs and all that type of thing. And I remember sort of thinking to myself, the reason why they are, and I could see they taught the talk, they walked the walk, they said all the right things, they were confident, they could blag their way into whatever it was. While because I was so scared and so quiet, nobody really noticed me. They didn't even notice I was there. And this is, again, one of the things that I say to business owners is that the first thing that you need to do when you're trying to sell or promote whatever it is that you're doing, services or products, is that you need to get attention. Because if nobody knows you're there and that you haven't gained that attention, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to get to the sale. So for me, that's what I realized, is the fact that I was so quiet. I was so unassuming. Nobody was going to notice me. It was going to take me so much longer to get anywhere. And it was a gradual thing. So step by step, I started to come out of my shell and face my fears. Do little things, little steps to introduce myself or to show what I could do. And they were small steps, Steph, very, very small steps. And, you know, that big thing for me in starting my own business, that was huge, absolutely huge for me. And then that sort of just grew as time went on. And I can still remember the time when I first did video. Oh my gosh, scared or what?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a journey. It's a step-by-step journey.
And business grows you as a person because you literally have to do stuff. You have to teach people. You have to go out there. And the more you do it, the more competent you become at it, the more confident you get at it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I love that. You took it in baby steps and you got to where you are today. But I think there's a sort of a commitment that you have to have in your mind, you know, I'm not going to let this stop me.
Yeah, it is. It is, because I gave myself a good talking to. I said, you know, if I don't do this, I will always stay in this place. But if I take this step, I may get to where I want to get to. So, and this is, you know, these are talks that I give myself even now, you know, because I know I have to take the step. I know I have to do the thing. And I love it when I can look back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I took that step, because if I didn't do that, this wouldn't have happened. Actually, I love doing that exercise. I love it, especially when something amazing is happening. I always love to retrace my steps and think, okay, how did this happen? Oh, I did that. Oh, and I spoke to so-and-so, and then they spoke to so-and-so, and then this, and that's how it happens.
Have you got an example?
Oh gosh. I remember saying I wanted to work with young people probably 7, 8 years ago. And I put it out there, and I did various little things, just odd stuff here and there. And I met someone during weddings and events. She was in a totally different industry then. She was a singer, so we connected that way. And then we lost touch. And then we got back in touch again just by, I think we connected online, and she said, I'm now in a different field. I'm doing stuff with the university. How about you come in and chat to the students? And I started to do some talks then. I'd never done talks with students. Like, you know, she just invited me to come in and do that. And I started to do talks and some workshops with them. And then she introduced me to Big Ideas Wales, because she had the connection with them. And she said, you really need to get involved with Big Ideas Wales, because they get you into different schools and universities and whatever. And so I then contacted them, met somebody who was amazing, who then got me into Big Ideas Wales as well. Started to do that more. And then, you know, one of the universities then asked me to work with them in mentoring. So I do that on a regular basis as well with the young people. So I retrace all of that, and I think, oh my gosh, if I hadn't have connected with this person through the weddings and events, and that was because I put myself out there and set up a networking group for weddings and events. So all a trail, honestly. I just nobody was doing it. Nobody was doing the networking for people in weddings and events. And I thought, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something different. And that's how I met her.
I love that, because you started up that network with no expectation, and then years later, that made one of your dreams come true, which was
Yeah.
to work with young people in
Oh,
university.
Lucy is my dog.
Oh, lovely. Little Milo. Put him
Yeah.
up to say hi, Paula.
Oh,
If you're watching on the website, you'll be able to see little Milo. Oh, and the link is in
yeah.
the description. Oh,
Look, he's
what
got
a
his rope
sweetie
as
he
well.
is.
He's got his rope
Okay.
because he thinks I'm going to play with him.
Fabulous. Well, I have an example as well like that of whereby something many years ago that you've totally forgotten. When we
Yeah.
first started in property, in Rent, and I was more shy and I was new to property and I was a bit more nervous about it. And we got invited to speak at an event. Our accountants hosted an event, and they weren't even our accountants then, but they'd
Yeah.
seen me on Twitter. I'm not even on Twitter now, and I just put up about before and after pictures of one of our properties, and they'd asked me to speak at this event, and it was for local landlords, and we went along. This was 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Probably 2017. We went along and we met a couple there and we're just chatting after we'd talked, and that was terrifying for me doing that talk.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. Writing the thing took ages. I was so nervous about doing it, turning up and everything. Oh, but obviously, well, not obviously, but it seemed to go well. And, afterwards, people line up to speak to you. And this couple we spoke to very, very briefly. Anyway, years later in 2020, I want to say, so 3 years later, probably the back end of 2019, actually, they gave us a call because they'd met us at that event, and we'd also been sending out landlord letters, and these people owned a few HMOs, this couple, and they said, we've got a property and it's one house partially separated into 4 flats. Do we want to buy it? And not only that, Paula, they said, do we want to buy it? Because they're property investors, they know about, do we want to buy it normal or lease option? Well, if you buy it on a lease option, you don't have to have all the money straight away. It's like a rent to buy scheme. So it was absolutely music to our ears.
Yeah.
And we bought that property, completed the conversion, now fully tenanted, etc. It's been fantastic. And so all of that came out of
You taking that step.
and
Yeah.
it needn't necessarily be a speaker, because if you're listening, I don't want you to think that if you're not the speaker that you couldn't have this happen. You could just go to a local landlord event and people speak to people there, and somebody years later gets in touch because they know that you manage HMOs, and then they've also received your landlord letters. So I think the message that you're giving, Paula, is just show up in spite of the nerves or
it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Yes.
I don't know if you feel like that, Steph, but honestly, the most scariest bit is before you get there, is thinking about doing the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly.
We get this fear as though we're being chased by a tiger, as though we're going to die. It's an irrational fear because we're not actually in physical danger, but it feels like it. But thank you so much, Paula, for coming on. What do you want to leave people with? Is there anything else that you want to add?
Oh, do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I think I've dropped some fabulous gems for people to think about, food for thought. But, one of the things that I, just love to say is, excuse me, is to just think about who you are and show up as the true you.
Yeah. Totally. Very powerful. And sometimes we don't do it. We hide ourselves.
Yeah. Trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah. Trying to be like everybody else. Very vanilla. So, paulaburns.net, business mentoring page. For that, downloads 5 simple ways to stand out in your industry, and also irresistible business impact on Facebook. Join Paula's group, speak to Paula. She's phenomenal. If you want to grow your inner confidence, whether that's for your business or for work life, then Paula is amazing. So thank you, Paula, for joining us. Thank you
so much for having me, Steph.
Pleasure. Thank you all for watching and for listening. And remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer. See you all next week. Bye for now.